Hari Om. Sorry, there is some technical problem, so I was just stuck with that. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpathyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Yam pravrajantamanopetakrutyam Dvaipayano virahakatara ajuhava Putreti tanmayataya taravo bineduhu Tam sarvabhuta Hrudayam munimanatosmi Janmadyasya yatodvayaditarata Sharteshvabhignasvara Tene brahma hrudaya adikavaye Muhyanti yatsuraya Tejo vari mrudam yatha vinimayo Yatra trisargo mrusha Namna sena sada nirastakuham Satyam param dhimahi Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayamudhirayet. Om Hari Om. I welcome you all to this session of Bhagavatam. And yesterday we discussed about the Bhishma Stuti. So that was the last minute of his life, and he did Stuti of Bhagavan, and he also described the certain Leelas which he witnessed, and he used those Leelas to focus his mind on Sri Krishna. So that helps him to hold on to his picture, so that image will stay in his mind till the last minute. So this is a great lesson we have learnt yesterday, how to hold on to his image, so that it will make our exit from this body easy. And also we have discussed about the inner transformation, how our mind should be. So that is extremely important. So if those points, if we don't follow, then the mind will be disturbed, and the disturbed mind can never hold on to Sri Krishna. And with the disturbed mind, if we don't have Sri Krishna in the mind, so it's not really going to help us. So eventually in the end, the mind should assume the form of Bhagavan, whichever Bhagavan you like. Or if you are far advanced than this, or if you believe in Advaitam, then it will be the all-pervasive consciousness, which is the self-effulgent Brahman. So yesterday we discussed about all the Pandavas' visit to the to Bhishma's place. Then Yudhishthira was very upset because he had committed so much of sin of killing everyone just for the sake of the kingdom. So he wasn't very happy about that. he was very upset. So that's why he took him, and then Bhishma Pitamaha, Sri Krishna, everybody consoled him. So to a certain extent he is better, but still he had that guilt and he wanted to perform the Ashwamedha Yaga. But to perform Ashwamedha Yaga, you need lot of objects, the treasure, lot of treasure you need. But the treasure, so they have exhausted treasure in the with the war. So they don't have any treasure. But it is pricking him. It is pricking the Dharmaraja. I have done it this much, I have done this much, I have to do the Prayashchitam, I have to do the Ashwamedha Yaga. So he asked Sri Krishna. When he asked Sri Krishna suggested, so there was a king called the Marut in Himalayas. So that king, very, very wealthy king, and he performed the Ashwamedha Yagam, and he gave away lot of gold and lot of wealth as a charity to the Brahmanas. And he fed everyone in the gold plates, gold vessels, gold glasses. And the whole yajna was performed with the gold. So all the visitors who came, especially the Brahmanas, what do they do with the gold plate and the glass and the katoris they have? So they all dumped it in one place they discarded it in one place in the Himalayas. So there are heaps and heaps of gold is there and other materials. So Sri Krishna suggested, so there's so much is there, you go and get it, and then with that you can perform the Ashwamedha Yajna. So that is how he went and he collected all that treasure and he utilized that for his yajna because his treasury was empty. So what is it? What did we learn? So it's a recycling, right? So if you don't have money, if you don't have things, and if somebody had done and somebody had left it, there's nothing wrong in going and requesting and utilizing that. When Dharmaraja could do it, when Sri Krishna suggested it, why not us? So that ego got to go. Okay, so that's a great lesson for us to see here. No, here and there you will keep on learning lessons. Now, so Dharmaraja strictly followed the religious principles when he was ruling the kingdom. He was ruling the whole earth, in fact. So he was strictly following the principles. So anybody who performs the spiritual rites, follows the path of dharma suggested in the Vedas, that particular area will be blessed by the Bhagavan. Okay. So what happened? So when the blessing of the Bhagavan is there, what happens? So he had regulated rainfall. When the king follows the dharma, automatically his citizens also will follow the dharma. So they all followed, so that dharma was being performed, carried on, practiced. So the whole of nature blessed him. How did he bless that kingdom? They had regulated rainfalls and they had earth profusely produced all necessities which are required for the human beings. The cows were cheerful. They produced the milk in abundance, and that milk was enough to wet the earth also. The rivers and the oceans were flowing well. The hills were full of greenery and the herbs. The forests were full of the trees and the fruits, and the creepers producing so many fruits and the vegetables and the flowers. So all were performing very well because of the blessings which Yudhishthira Maharaj has gained through his rituals and following the path of dharma. And all the citizens were stress-free. So when people are stress free, what happens? People remain healthy, no? So there is no diseases. And because there is so much of production, the king was getting enough taxes regularly. So things are going very well, and Sri Krishna is also very happy. Now Krishna suggested, so Krishna went to Maharaja Yudhishthira and said, see, it is long time since I have left Dwaraka, so I like to go back to Dwaraka and I seek your permission. And say, look at this, Sri Krishna, because Yudhishthira was just a few years older to him, he showed his respect by bowing down to his feet and requesting his permission. Now, isn't it a wonderful lesson we are having? Krishna himself following the path of Dharma, how a human being should behave. So he went and he asked, and then Yudhishthira was very upset. Of course, he understands it's very important for Sri Krishna to go back to Dwaraka. So he lifted him up and embraced him, thanked him profusely and gave him permission. So he went to Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Krupa, Dhaumya and all other Pandavas were extremely sad because they were under the comfort of Sri Krishna's protection. And also people get used, no, when somebody is wonderful and he stayed with you for a long time, you get used to them and you don't like to see them going away. And now you can imagine how they must have felt when Sri Krishna had to leave. So they were all upset, and the whole of citizens were upset. And when he was going, everybody came, especially the ladies. They started crying, but it's not auspicious when somebody is leaving the place, when somebody is going to travel. So they controlled their tears and they showered him with the flowers. All the Brahmanas, they chanted the Vedas, so his journey will be very safe. And they also blessed him. And then there were musical instruments. All of them played the music in honor of Sri Krishna. And then all the ladies who went to the rooftops of the palace, and from there they had a glimpse of him and showered the flowers all along the path and on him and on the chariot. So it was a very sad occasion for them, but then they made it a memorable and auspicious occasion so that Sri Krishna's departure and his arrival at his destination will be safe and sound. So it's not that Sri Krishna required just like anybody, but it is their affection, it is their love, it is their gratitude. So they expressed in that way. And when he was going, all those ladies who were at the rooftop observing him and showering the flowers, they were all thinking, see how fortunate the gopis in Vrindavan were, and he had spent a lot of time with them, playing with them, talking to them, and then telling him stories and bullying, all kind of things they had together. How how fortunate these Vrindavanavasis and how fortunate the queens of the Dwaraka to have Krishna as their husband, and he is with them all the time, intimately talking to them, advising them and guiding them. So they were all thinking and recollecting. So all those ladies are very, very... See, I'm sorry, there is a little bit of technical problem. I will continue for some time. It might come. Otherwise, so tell me if you can't hear. You let me. Can you all hear me properly? Can you all hear me properly?
Yes. Line is not there.
Yeah.
However, we are able to hear you.
You are able to. Okay. I'll see what I can do a little bit.
Voice is clear.
Voice is clear. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The voice is clear, madam.
Okay, thank you. So they were all very upset about it, but at the same time they're thinking how wonderful and how fortunate all these Dwarakavasis and the queens to have Sri Krishna with them all the time. Just that little bit of light. Okay. So it's an emotional time for them, but they have no choice. And Sri Krishna also understands. He can look at their face and understand their emotions, and he is also very compassionate. He had looked around and he had spread his glances and the smiles to each and every one. So it's not difficult for them, maybe around 1,000, 200, thousands and thousands of people. But Sri Krishna has got the capacity, when he looks at somebody in a certain direction, everybody in that area will feel Krishna is looking at me, Krishna acknowledged me, and Krishna is fond of me. That is the kind of affection he is capable of showering on the people around. So there was exchange of glances between the ladies there and the Krishna, and then the Krishna mounted onto the chariot. So Sri Krishna mounted onto the chariot and everybody followed him as far as possible. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, out of his affection, he had sent a small army as well to protect Sri Krishna. Right? Sri Krishna actually doesn't need anyone to protect him, but it is our love. The way we reciprocate with the other person expresses our love. So this is what he expressed by sending this army with him. And the Pandavas, they walked and walked and walked and followed him, and some of them in the chariots, some on the horses, some walked with him, and eventually Krishna said a couple of times, no, so it's okay, now everything is fine, so you please, all of you, go back. But nobody could leave Krishna. How can anybody leave Krishna? Even if he says you go back, go back. So even he said that couple of times and they were not listening because they couldn't leave him. So eventually he got down the chariot and he said, see, so far you have come and you have given me the protection also. This protection, this army will definitely take care of me. But just in case there is a problem, I will definitely send a message for you. So you don't worry about that. If I need help, I will definitely send the message. So you please, all of you, go back peacefully. Now I have to go fast towards the destination. So then all of them left, and then Krishna, the chariot, then he just started going around, traveling towards the Dwaraka. Now on the way he passed, see, I am very fond of these places names which Vyasa Maharshi described, and where that Sri Krishna's chariot has passed through. So he passed through Kuru Jangali, Panchala, Surasena, Brahmavarta, Kurukshetra, Matsya and Saraswata. And then after that he followed a path. There was a huge desert. So he had to cross that desert county. Now every evening during his journey, he will stop for Sandhya Vandanam. He never missed Sandhya Vandanam. Okay? So every day he will stop to offer the prayers. And all local people, they welcomed him, they worshipped him, and they offered their respects and the gifts. Okay. So these gifts, what were those gifts? Those gifts are silver cups, silver thing, and then the fruits and the flowers, the baskets, the local baskets filled with the local fruits, and then the pots filled with the curd, ghee, butter, all those things. They are small ones, but it is from the heart. It had come from their heart. So there's a beautiful incident. There are some people who are like that. So there's a beautiful incident which I like to share. So few years ago, quite a number of years ago, me and my friend, we were part of the Art of Living organization. So that particular day was Guruji's birthday. Okay. So there was a satsang and everything. So everything, the talk was there, the bhajans were there, everything was there. And then Guruji was going, and you can imagine thousands and thousands of people were there. So he had got into the car, and he had pulled down the window a little bit so he can put his hand out and wave for everybody. So that window thing which had rolled down, that gap was only about 6 inches or so, not much. A friend of mine, a great devotee, and she herself a highly evolved soul. So she bought a small silver cup for Guruji, and she's very particular. She wants to hand it over to him. But that didn't happen because of thousands and thousands, and he couldn't see. So what she did was, she rushed through the crowd, she pushed people around, and then she reached the Guruji's car, and she just threw the cup into him, into the car, through the gap. And she was so thrilled. She was so thrilled with that, saying, "Oh, I gave it to Guruji. I gave it to Guruji." See, Guruji would not have realized when somebody has just dropped the cup like that in the middle of thousands of people. But look at her. I was really amazed at her bhakti. Look at her. See, Guruji wouldn't know which person had given that cup. And you know very well, that cup is a beautiful cup, but then he gets thousands of cups. So he may not recognize that. But it didn't bother her. She wanted to give a gift to Guruji on his birthday. So that was a thing in her mind. Then I thought, this is what is the bhakti of the gopi. Gopis never asked for recognition. Gopis never wanted any reciprocation. But gopis wanted the happiness of Krishna. And their happiness, they felt the happiness by offering something which Krishna likes. So this is a beautiful lesson I heard, I witnessed on that day. And when I was reading this particular chapter, and when I was reading this, the people welcomed and worshipped and, expressed their gifts, expressed their respect by offering the gifts. So I remembered my friend, and I thought, no, I will share it with you. So these are all the little things, we learn when we are with the other people. So there are many people who are highly evolved, and unless we mix with the devotees, how do we know? See, we all have certain good qualities, but we don't have 100% good qualities. But there are others who have good qualities which are not in us, and this is the advantage of being in the satsanga. And that's why Sri Krishna and all the Maharshis in Bhagavatam kept on repeating again and again, satsanga, satsanga, sadhu sanga, be with the sadhus. So this is the advantage of when you like someone, you give it. It doesn't matter how much that person reciprocates. It need not be the highly exalted persons. It can be our friend also. So you just give something because you want to give it. That itself expands our mind. So it is not for the sake of the other person. It is for the sake of our inner growth. And then finally, Sri Krishna reached the outskirts of the Dwaraka. So then he took up his Panchajanyam and he blew the Panchajanyam. And all the citizens, they already knew he is coming. So they got all the preparations done. But as soon as they heard, they were all ecstatic and they came running out of their houses with the flowers and all that fruit juices and everything. Because they know when people are traveling from faraway place, as soon as they come, what do we offer them? If it is a hot climate, we offer them water and something to eat. If it is a cold climate, we offer them hot cup of tea. So this is what they have done. So they got everything ready for them, and then as soon as they heard, they started running. And that particular place was so beautifully decorated with the rangoli, with the banana plants, and then mango leaves, flower garlands, loose flowers sprinkled everywhere, scented water sprinkled everywhere, rangolis everywhere, and every house had a big pots of cane sugar juice and curd and so on. So they got everything ready to welcome Sri Krishna along with his people. And also when Krishna is coming, so many people will be waiting outside, no? So many people will be waiting to see him. So they prepared, they thought of all these things. So they have organized everything for the people also.
There was a lot of concern, I know, in my local area about what could happen. But I'm glad to say that the community.
So they have done all those things, and then Krishna was very happy to see his welcome, to see all his people. Even Krishna missed him, missed all of them. They all missed Krishna, and Krishna has such a soft heart. He thinks of the people everywhere, wherever his devotees are there. He may be in one place, but wherever his devotees are there, he thinks of them. He understands their emotions, and he realizes they all missed me, and I have to go and spend time with them. I have to make them feel I understand their emotions. I remember them, and I'm very fond of them. So all these things he thinks of and made everybody feel wonderful about it. So as to welcome that chariot, first Vasudeva, Akrura, Ugrasena, Balarama, Pradyumna, and they've all come with the Brahmanas. So all the Brahmanas were chanting, and all the musicians had come with their musical instruments. They playing, oh, Krishna is coming, Krishna is coming. And there were dancers, and there were people who are capable of talking. So they all glorified, and they all glorified the leelas of the Krishna. And also he spoke about how much they all missed. Without Krishna there, Dwaraka was like a desert for them. It was like, even though the sun was there, if we don't have eyes, we can't see. So even though the Krishna somewhere, because he is not in their presence, they all felt they have become blind. And then the parents, Vasudeva and then Devaki, she went and embraced them, embraced Sri Krishna, and she made him sit on her lap. Okay, so Krishna was around 100 years old at that time. But why did she make such a 100-year-old son sit on her lap? It is her motherly affection. She missed the childhood of Sri Krishna when he was in Vrindavan. Till the age of 11, Devaki did not have that fortune of enjoying his childhood. So for her, Krishna is always a small child only. She always missed that. So she always visualized that. In her mind, Sri Krishna around 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 10-year-old, how Krishna would have been at that age. So that remained. As soon as she saw the 100-year-old Krishna also, for her own Krishna, her own little boy. So he had won the war of Kurukshetra, but still her own little boy. So she had kept him on her lap and kissed him and embraced him, and then asked him how everything is okay. Are you okay? Are you happy? Are you comfortable? Everybody in the Hastinapura. So she inquired about everybody in the Hastinapura. And then she also expressed that everyone in Dwaraka missed you so much. And I'm very happy you have come back to all of us. Then, so this, the Naimisharanya rishis, they asked about the bhakti. What is bhakti? And how did Bhagavatam come into existence? Okay. And then they also asked about the Parikshith Maharaj. Okay. And Suta Maharshi was so excited. So he started describing about just mentioned about the Parikshith Maharaj, but then he got carried away with the charming leelas of Sri Krishna. So he went on and on and on describing the whole of the events which happened before Parikshith Maharaj's birth. And that is how the whole conversation and the description of how he left Hastinapura and then how the Dwaraka's people missed him and enjoyed him. So it was that. So this is what happens when you like some subject, you deviate from the center and you go on describing. So that is the beauty of the Sri Krishna. Quite often it happens to us, no? So it's because we have been thinking about Krishna and listening to the kirtanas, we also get carried away, no? The things just which we have to do, it just forgets and then get absorbed, especially if the meditation is going very well that day, you won't even realize that because you are so absorbed in visualizing Krishna and experiencing it. Okay, so Krishna is actually a bhava priya, or Bhagavan is a bhava priya. So what does it mean by bhava? The feelings inside, right? So only when we have a feeling inside, we can hold on. If we don't have feeling, we cannot hold on to that person. So that person will just become like any other friend. So when you see that person, you talk to that person, you share certain things, you do certain things together, but then you forget afterwards. Yeah. So this is what happens when we like someone, the mind holds on to that. Now here we have to develop that kind of emotion with the Sri Krishna. Okay. Now how to develop that? So one beautiful way is because it is the subtle, that emotion, that feeling, that bhava inside is a subtle emotion, and then how to cultivate that. There's a beautiful technique which worked very well for me. So you also please try that. Okay, so you just pick up whichever Krishna bhajan or Krishna kirtana you like, which touches your heart, and keep on listening to it. If it helps you visualize, also do that. And keep listening again and again and again for almost a week, minimum 20-25 times. So what happens is, initially you are aware at gross level. You are listening to the wordings. You are aware of the meaning. And you hold on to that. Okay. So that is at the gross level. And mind also, and internally also, we keep singing. So initially we sing gross. So we sing loud. And then it becomes a very, very mild. Then we sing with the mind only. Just with the mind. No movement of the lips. And no sound coming. But only through the mind, keep listening to that song, and then as you are listening, so this has to happen with the mind inside, okay? So you have a Krishna inside you, you are seeing the Krishna, and you are aware of the breath, you are aware of the sound, you are aware of the image, and hold on to that, and mind has that power. That image will disappear. and only the sound will be there. And the sound also becomes milder and milder. And you will experience that vibrations inside. Okay. So generally we are aware of the vibrations, isn't it? Whenever there is a sound, we are aware of the vibrations outside. But we are not aware of the inner vibrations because the mind is always outside. Okay. We are not aware of the inner vibrations because the mind is always outside. And when you are holding on to that, you will experience that joyful experience. That intense, joyful experience which is taking you towards the bliss. But that sound, in a milder way, it will go on. You won't do anything about it, but the mind will keep doing it on its own. Okay? And this is the bhava we develop. Okay? When you have that kind of bhava, and till it gets into you, keep practicing it. And afterwards it will become, you will go to bed with that bhava, you will wake up in the morning with the bhava, and then you will do your activities with the bhava. And when that bhava is there, the anger just, that anger goes down and down to such an extent, even if you want to shout at someone, it doesn't come. Why? Because the mind is absorbed in that joy. Only when the mind is not happy, it will shout. It will be angry. But when the mind is happy, enjoying that bliss, that vibrations just before entering the bliss, because we are all gross in the gross world, that deep silence is the one which gives the bliss. But when we are in the activity, that subtle vibrations will be there. That subtle vibrations will make you feel so happy. Even if you want to shout at someone, it just doesn't come because mind doesn't want to do it that way. And if we can hold on to that, and that will take you to the higher and the higher levels. And when you reach that level, you don't need anything. Absolutely, you don't need anybody. Just a simple food to sustain this body. Because we want to hold on to this body as long as it is healthy. So we can do more and more sadhana. And also we can do a little bit of seva, which we can do. But that inner bhava is very important. When that inner bhava comes, you can be sure Sri Krishna is with you. He is guiding us. But till then, till that connection forms, we have to work for that bhava. Okay? Now, we will check. The rishis wanted to know the birth of the Parikshith Maharaj. Now, so we discussed last time the Brahmastra, Ashwatthama's Brahmastra was coming to kill the embryo in the Uttara's womb. And then Uttara ran towards the Krishna and said, this is what is happening. And Sri Krishna realized it. And he covered the Uttara, and also he neutralized the Brahmastra. So that by that time, that radiation was affecting the embryo inside. So Sri Krishna took the form of just the size of a thumb. This four-handed, the Chaturbhuja Krishna, the size of a thumb, he entered the womb, and then with his gada, he tried to protect that little embryo, which the future Parikshith Maharaj, with that by wielding the gada around so that he can ward off the radiation from the Brahmastra. So and then that little one saw the Krishna. Okay. What actually happened was, when that Brahmastra radiation reached just the time when Sri Krishna appeared with his Chaturbhuja form, that embryo died. So he gave another body. He gave a second body and protected. Okay. So now everything, Brahmastra is neutralized. The child is saved with the second body. And then Sri Krishna left. So that baby grew well, and then Uttara delivered a beautiful boy. And Dhritarashtra, the Dharmaraja and all the Pandavas so happy because their lineage is going to be continued with this boy. So Maharaja Yudhishthira, he performed the rituals, and then he donated lot of gold, land, houses, cows to abundantly to all these brahmanas. And then he asked them, what is the future of this child is going to be, and the Janma Nakshatra and all those. So for that, the Brahmana said, this child is born at a very auspicious time. And because he is protected by Sri Krishna, his name will be Vishnu Ratha. And then this boy will become a great devotee and also a great ruler like your ancestors. Yudhishthira asked that question, will he be a devotee? Will he be a great ruler like our ancestors? He said this boy will definitely be a great devotee and a great ruler. He will be true to his promise like Sri Rama. He will be magnificent giver of the charity, and he will be the protector of the surrendered like Sibi Maharaj. We know about the Sibi Chakravarti when that, when the eagle tried to kill that parrot. So he offered the flesh from his thigh and then saved the parrot. So that's the kind of, he protects. So Parikshith is going to protect the surrendered like the Sibi Maharaj. And he will be great bowman like Arjuna. He will be strong like a lion. And his forbearance, the Titiksha, will be like the Mother Earth. And he will be worthy of taking a shelter like Himalayas. In equanimity, he will be like a Yudhishthira. Listen to that. Yudhishthira has an equanimity. And that is why, even though he had gone through so much, if you read the whole of Mahabharata, even though he had gone through so much, not in a single place he expressed his anger. He always said, this is the time is not right for us. We are destined to suffer. That's all he said. He never complained about the Dhritarashtra and the Duryodhana. And when he asked the questions to Narada Maharshi, Maitreya Maharshi, Markandeya Maharshi, all his questions were directed towards how to lead a dharmic path. How should a king should rule his kingdom. So these are the questions he asked. He never thought about his comfort. He never complained about the sufferings he had gone through. So that is why he said, in Titiksha, he will be like the Yudhishthira Maharaj. And in patience, in equanimity, he will be like Yudhishthira Maharaj. In patience, he will be like a Bali Maharaj. In magnanimity, he will be like a Rantideva. So we will be reading about Rantideva in the future chapters. And he will be a great devotee like a Prahlada Maharaj. And he will start living, he will have a short life, and his death will be in the hands of the Takshaka. His things will be in the hands of the Takshaka, and he will develop Vairagyam and will approach Sukha Maharshi. And then he will learn about self-realization from the Sukha Maharshi, and then achieve the life of the fearlessness. So, Parikshith Maharaj, this little boy, his name was Vishnuratha. But because he had seen Sri Krishna in the womb, that image was fixed in his mind. So, whenever anybody came to see him, he used to look around. He used to examine. He used to look around for that familiar face. And you could see that, you could see that, the enthusiasm to see that particular person, the search in his eyes to look for that particular image, that Sri Krishna's image. So that's how he got the name Parikshit, because he was looking everybody around with the eye of a Pariksha. Is this the one? Is this the one? Is this the one? Is this the one? So that is how he got the name Parikshit. Okay. So he had become a great Bhagavatar. And I'll just mention a couple of things to you, and I will just take you through just a 5 minutes meditation. And that meditation will be based on what we have learned all these days, the essence of what we have learned. So all of you close your eyes just for a few minutes. Just observe the breath. So every morning we wake up from the sleep. And that sleep is like a birth. And every night we go to sleep, and that sleep is a temporary death. We are not aware of our body in the deep sleep. That's like a temporary birth, temporary death for this body. As soon as you wake up, which is a birth, pray to Bhagavan, O Lord, I am born now from the womb of the sleep. I am determined to carry out all tasks today as an offering to you. With your presence in my mind, Please bless my thoughts, words, and deeds to be pure and sacred. Let me not inflict pain on anyone, and please direct me and guide me through all activities of today. Please bless me with your presence in my mind's eye whole day. And in the night, before going to sleep, O Lord, the burden of today's task, which I placed on you this morning, is over. It was you who made me think, talk, walk, and act. I therefore place your lotus feet in all my thoughts, words, and deeds. Today's task is done. Please receive me. I am coming back to you. Okay, you may slowly open your eyes. Right. So, this is exactly what is happening to us. Every day when we sleep, we are going back to what? We are going back to that. Our mind is resolving. Our mind is resolving into the source, that consciousness. And what is that consciousness? The consciousness is Lord. So when we sleep, our individuality, our ego resolves back, but then it is unconscious. Not aware. There is no awareness at all. So when we are sleeping, what happens? We are not aware whether I am a woman or a man, or whether I am sleeping in such and such a place. We are not aware. In the deep sleep, we don't exist. Why? Because the mind is shut down. Okay, but what actually happens is the mind is going back to the source, but the individuality is there, that ego is very much there. That is why as soon as we wake up in the morning, we wake up with the same thoughts. Okay, so that means the individuality is very, very strong because we are ignorant of ourselves. And that ego has got, I have to do this, I am this, I want that, I like to do this, I don't like this. So that ego is full of ragadveshas, which goes on and inside, and it does not let us rest.